He's got the most pliable face in Hollywood.
What the hell are you talking about?
But also acting chops to back it up.
There's not going to be any fight without Scott Riles and the incredibly polite Canadian news team.
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 Jim Carrey performances.
Who am I? Why am I here? When I'm done rolling up this booger, should I eat it or throw it out the window? Feels good.
For this list, we're taking a look at those performances that show off this actor at his finest and/or most memorable.
Okay, then, let's do it.
Number 10, Count Olaf, Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events.
Hello, hello, hello. I am your beloved Count Olaf.
A role that seemed to have been written for him, Count Olaf is an evil old man who just so happens to also be an old-timey stage actor that disguises himself to keep tabs on 3 children whose fortune he desires. Playing to his uncanny ability to create textured comedic personalities and his all-encompassing commitment to the moment, nobody else could have played the character, taken from Lemony Snicket's children's novels, better.
These children tried to tell you, but you wouldn't listen. No one ever listens to children.
It takes incredible skill to be likable no matter your evil deeds, but hateable enough that audiences cherish your inevitable just desserts. And that's exactly what Jim Carrey achieves in this fantasy comedy.
It's been fun.
I'm going to get you no matter where you go, no matter what you do, I'll find you. You are so deceased.
Number 9, Stephen J. Russell, I Love You, Philip Morris.
Nice to meet you, Stephen Russell. My name is Philip Morris.
This is perhaps the least known film on this list, arguably due to its overt homosexual content, which ensured it only received a limited release. And that's a real shame, as the comedy should have garnered a much larger following.
That is the most romantic thing that anyone ever did for me.
Anchored by Carrey's performance as a man who is hopelessly in love and will do whatever it takes to be with the man he loves, this is some of the actor's best work.
I love you, Philip Morris! I love you!
Despite his status as a prisoner, he remains innocent and sweet throughout, and we root for his happiness from beginning to end.
I promise I'll never be anything else. Ever again.
Number 8, The Cable Guy, Ernie Chip Douglas, The Cable Guy.
You're on a big date.
When the credits come down and the movie is over, we think we've learned something about this man with a lisp. But he may just be fooling us as he did so many in the film.
Who is it?
It's the Cable Guy!
What we do know, though, is that we had a ball watching him and are entirely happy we never found ourselves in his gaze.
I've never made a slam dunk before. Thanks for the boost.
At the time of its release, The Cable Guy was seen by some as the first failure since Carrey's career took flight. But we'd argue that some people were just not prepared for its masterfully dark tone.
I can be your best friend or your worst enemy.
Number 7, Fletcher Reed, Liar Liar.
I can't lie!
Playing a lawyer who cannot tell a lie for 24 hours, Jim uses his ample comedic timing and elastic body to elicit laughs out of every moment he has on screen in this late 90s classic.
Well, that's because you have big jugs. I mean, your boobs are huge. I mean, I want to squeeze them. Mama!
On top of bringing the laughs, though, this film's more tender moments between father and son begin to hint at the dramatic efforts that the actor had not yet tapped into.
I love you more than anything else in the world, Max. And you know it's true.
A harbinger of things to come and a hilarious movie to boot, this comedy is a great addition to Carrey's resume.
I have no further witnesses, Your Honor.
Number 6, Stanley Ipkiss, The Mask, The Mask.
Ipkiss. Stanley Ipkiss.
A comic book movie before comic book movies were cool. The Mask is a silly but good time with some crime noir elements thrown in for good measure.
Ooh, somebody stop me!
Providing some of the biggest belly laughs of his career, this movie sees Jim playing an absolute cartoon character and an everyday sucker who you can't help but love.
When I put that mask on,
I can do anything. Be anything.
As great as the film as a whole undoubtedly is, there are few moments more funny than when Stanley Ipkiss makes a thug a balloon dog and then breaks the man's heart by popping it because of rabies.
Sorry, son. The dog was rabid. Had to put it down.
Number 5. Andy Kaufman, Man on the Moon.
Hello. I am Andy, and I would like to thank you for coming to my movie.
When a comedy legend plays another comedy legend on screen, things could easily go over the top. But Jim yet again proves his ability to tone things down when needed in this biographical comedy drama.
Well.
That's not to say things don't get crazy, as Andy was arguably one of the fiendishly crazy comedians ever to live. And few actors are more capable of playing huge characters than Carrey. An example of the range that sometimes goes criminally underappreciated. This film could also be used as an example for up-and-coming actors for years to come.
You don't have to be sorry, Jerry. You're terrific.
Number 4. Lloyd Christmas, Dumb and Dumber.
That's a lovely accent you have. New Jersey?
It's often been said that it takes an intelligent actor to play a stupid person. And though that might seem counterintuitive, we believe it to be completely true.
That sounds good. I'll have that.
We also think it takes a hilarious man to play the lead in what may just be one of the funniest films ever put to celluloid. So it's lucky for the Farrelly brothers that they landed Mr. Carrey for this one.
Hey, want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
Can you imagine anyone else pulling off the most annoying noise ever or the fantasy fight sequence? Because we surely can't. Number 3. Truman Burbank, The Truman Show.
Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
The first film of the man's career that had the masses crying for an Oscar nomination, The Truman Show's Truman Burbank was so lovable and endearing that he brought tears to many eyes. As a person overcoming deep-seated fears to accomplish great things, Carrey's performance speaks to almost all of us in an innate way that could have easily come off as manipulative in the hands of a less talented actor.
What the hell does this have to do with anything? Tell me what's happening!
With Jim Carrey working his magic, though, we spend this movie alternating between sad contemplation and fist-pumping joy. But we can't think of a better compliment for it. Number 2. Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. Ace Ventura was the character that served the world notice that Jim Carrey was a star.
How can I ever repay you?
Well, the reward would be good. There is some damage to my car. It's a high-performance machine, so I had to fill it with premium.
With a plot that you never really care about, and many co-stars that serve mainly as an audience for his incredibly amusing antics, this film would have been an abject failure if it weren't for the titular detective.
mommy. I want my mommy.
Oh, baby Joel.
Watching a man relive the defining relationship of his life, from the horrible arguments that ended it to the beautiful awkwardness that began it, is both heartbreaking and inspiring.
It would be different if we could just give it another go-round.
Carrey perfectly embraces the meek nature of Joel, yet in the end, even the most outrageous of us can identify with the emotional journey he goes through in this romantic sci-fi comedy drama.
Oh, here's Osidious.
Of special note is the incredible moment in which he hides from the rain under a table. Do you agree with our list?
Who you talking to?
What's your favorite Jim Carrey performance? For more acting top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
Thank you. I haven't laughed like that in a long time.